differences. So we're probably not looking as much for cosmetic feedback as we are functionality. Is anything not working properly? Does something seem not quite as intuitive as you would think it would be? And that information can go to Dawn Barnes, dbarnes@dhm.disciples.org. I want to thank Dawn Barnes, who is such a critical part of this work. And I'll say a little bit more about this in a minute. And I also want to thank Chris Lubiers. Chris Lubiers, some of you know Chris, who was from the Arizona, or he helped Arizona. His partner was Tana Lubiers, who used to be the immigration legal counsel for DHM. And Chris Lubiers has done a lot of work with our website, both the DHM website and bringing this particular initiative to into existence. So without any further ado, I'm going to walk through a few slides just to give you an idea of what this is about, where it came from, and what we are hoping to accomplish with it. And then I also will do a quick demo of the site itself. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Here we go. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, can everyone see the presentation? Dawn?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a presentation on Disciples Mission Hub. I'm going to start by just reminding everyone DHM's mission is to equip and empower disciples to strengthen communities and change the world by engaging in coordinated missions, acting and speaking to promote greater justice and mercy, and providing innovative programs and resources to congregations, regions, clergy, and laity. We take our mission seriously. We've grouped it into 3 different features: mission, advocacy, and program. I'm not going to go through all of those in great detail, but what we do now, or what this is about, is really about helping to fulfill that mission in a compelling new way. At our core, we say we are about forming and equipping Christians to change the world. So much of what we do is oriented with that purpose in mind, forming and equipping Christians to change the world. And what we're about to present to you today is definitely in line with that mission core. A little over 2 years ago, the board of directors for DHM, as I was coming into this role, almost 3 years ago now, instructed me to do research and assessment in 2 key areas. Disciples volunteering. Some of you have been familiar with disciples volunteering as it had been handled in the past. Well, the pandemic kind of put that on hold, and then Josh Baird left. And so disciples volunteering went on an unintended hiatus. And so we really needed to understand what kind of work we could do in that area, what was needed, what might DHM do as far as disciples volunteering is concerned. The second thing that the board asked me to look at was our mission centers. We have a number of what we call mission centers. Sometimes they're called mission sites, like All Peoples, Southwest Good Samaritan, Inman, and a number of Yakima, and a number of other organizations. And we really haven't had a clear sense of what our relationship to those mission centers needs to be like today and in the future. So we needed to do some more research in that regard. And then I kind of added a third one. The board didn't ask me to look at this one, but I added one. And the one that I was really curious about adding in this research and assessment piece is, what can DHM do to support congregations and local missions? What can we do to help congregations that are doing outreach ministries in their local communities to serve the people in their communities? This is a key part of what we wanted to do with this initiative, and so I'll talk to you a little bit more about how we did the research and what we learned. In reviewing disciples volunteering, we looked at the history of the data. We looked at how successful it had been in the past. We also looked at how it had waned a little bit in recent years. We looked at the work that was done with Week of Compassion, supporting disaster and recovery. We talked to the previous director of Disciples Volunteering. We had conversations with Be the Neighbor, which has emerged as a pretty significant force for doing service learning work in our communities. And we had conversations with other denominations to ask them how they handled their volunteer coordination and supporting of their volunteer initiatives. One of the most interesting things we had in doing this research around volunteering is our conversations with Be the Neighbor. It's a UCC DOC organization merge. It's a product of a merger between a UCC and a DOC organization. They've
Okay.
had significant support from NBA. They were one of NBA's incubate partners. They've been supported by Week of Compassion as well as several key disciples congregations. They have a service learning, justice focus program where they take groups around the country and help them to learn about deeper justice issues while they're doing service work. And they've experienced tremendous growth. It was pretty clear to us that because of the amazing work that Be the Neighbor is already doing, we probably didn't need to try to create something like that. I mean, they're already doing such an amazing job. It doesn't make sense for us to create something that would be like it. But in our conversations with Allison Lanza and others, we started to think about, well, what happens after groups participate in the program? Is there a role for DHM to support groups that have been through the program and going back into their communities and applying the learning that they got from the trips? And so we began talking to them about partnership possibilities. As far as our mission sites or mission centers go, we looked at the history of these relationships. We had conversations with NBA. At one time, we had been in significant partnership with NBA around how to work closely with our mission sites together. We talked to key leaders of these organizations. And one of the things that came out of these conversations is a need to shift the language and the focus. We can't really use a one size fits all approach, and even the language of mission site seems a bit antiquated and out of step with what these really are. So we began thinking we need to shift to talking about mission partners. I'm pretty clear that DHM does not own these relationships with these entities, and so identifying them as solely DHM mission sites didn't make sense for me because they are partnering with so many other parts of the church, and they're partnering with DHM. So we're looking at changing our way of talking about our mission sites and describing them more as mission partners. We will continue to provide support and expertise when sought. We're looking at partnership around specific programs and initiatives, and we'll continue to provide some financial support when it's available and applicable. And then the biggest thing we want to make sure that we do is we want to support them with helping them connect with volunteers. The biggest area of research we did, and the thing that became most compelling for us, is our congregational research around congregations and local missions and outreach. We had two focus groups with regional ministers. I think there were about 4 or 5 regional ministers in each focus group. We did a cross section. We wanted larger, smaller regions, diversity in terms of geographic diversity. And in those focus groups, we really asked the regional ministers about what are some of the things their congregations are doing in local missions? What are some of the ways in which congregations are connected in local missions in the various regions? And we got a lot of good information. We also asked them to put us in touch with congregations. And so we had some follow-up congregation conversations with congregations. But the biggest point of research we did was we did a survey. We sent out a survey to over 1,000 disciples congregations, and we got back over 300 responses. Imagine that 300 congregations decided to answer a survey about what they're doing in local missions in their communities. That says something. That says that they're eager to tell the story, they're eager to share the news about what they're doing, and because of the questions that we asked them, they were eager to help us to understand how we could support them. We also did some visits with key congregations and had follow-up conversations with NBA. Here's the survey data. So of these 300 congregations, about 238 of them have some kind of food insecurity program, whether it's a food pantry or meals being made on a weekly basis. 112 of them had some form of clothing ministry. That's 37%. 43 of these congregations had a community garden. 91, a full 30% of them had some kind of ministry to unhoused persons. Rounding out the list, we've had addiction recovery programs, day school, daycare, after school programs, healthcare initiatives, mental health initiatives, and then others. This is the data we got from 300 congregations. Now, not only did we ask them about their ministries, but we asked them about what could DHM do to support you? What more would you like to see from the general church to support you in the work that you're doing in your communities? And we got some pretty good information. This is some of the stuff, these are the highlights of what congregations were asking for. One of the biggest is they want to be able to connect with other congregations involved in similar outreach ministries or local missions. They want to, oftentimes our congregations are the only one in their community that's a disciples congregation. They may be able to talk with a Methodist church or Presbyterian church, but they don't always get to connect with another disciples congregation on a day-to-day basis, especially around something that they're doing and that they're passionate about. The second component is they want to be able to connect with external support organizations that might help them think a little bit more clearly about the work that they're doing in their communities. Are there organizations out there that can help them with their clothing ministry? Are there organizations that can give them insight into the ways in which they provide food for their communities? A third component is they want to deepen their understanding of the root causes. Even when our congregations are doing food giveaways or working with persons who are homeless, they don't always have the resources to help them to understand the root causes and the deeper issues associated with it. They're just doing the best that they can to provide for the communities in which they are present. And so the congregations indicated they really would like to know a little bit more about some of these issues. And then the last point that came up commonly is information on grant funding opportunities. So when we looked at all of this, when we looked at the volunteering, when we looked at the mission partners, when we looked at congregations and local missions, we kind of summarized our learnings in this way. There is a strong desire to help disciples find places to connect and volunteer. That much is clear. So while the structure of disciples volunteering may not be viable at this point, there still is a strong desire for disciples to connect with disciples ministries and disciples affiliated organizations to do volunteer and service work. But there's also a desire to build on that service learning and to learn more after you've done the volunteering. So what does it mean to follow up with a Be the Neighbor experience with more learning about the issue or more opportunities to share that information with their congregations? There's a strong desire for congregations to connect with other disciples congregations doing similar local missions and outreach. And we have an opportunity to provide more education and information around specific categories of local missions and outreach and justice issues. And then perhaps one of the biggest things that we learned is that we need a way for disciples to share the good news about what they are doing in their communities. We're often the best kept secret, and we really don't want it to be a secret. We want to be able to talk more about what our congregations are doing, and our congregations want to talk more about what they're doing so that they might inspire others to do similarly. So after we did all of this research, after we did all of these focus groups, we began thinking about a new infrastructure to do these things. And that's what I want to present to you today. We created Disciples Mission Hub. This is a website. It's housed at disciplesmissionhub.org, and it does three basic things. It's a volunteer portal that connects congregations and individuals to disciples-affiliated volunteer opportunities throughout the U.S. and Canada. It's a platform for education and mission resourcing that offers webinars, e-learning content, downloadable content on mission-related topics, and funding opportunities around the programs that congregations are running. And then the third piece is a networking community that provides online networking spaces for cohorts to communicate experiences, share best practices, and even get tips on how to get started in key local missions work. Helping, understanding, being. This is Disciples Mission Hub. I want to share with you what this hub looks like. This is the main page. As you can see there, it's structured into those three components: helping, understanding, and being. And I want to walk you through a few of the features of this website now. The first thing I think that is oftentimes most compelling is the volunteer portal, the helping portal. So when you click on the helping portal, you pull up a map, but more than a map, you have the filter that allows you to choose by state. It allows you to choose by region. It will allow you to choose by focus. And it will even allow you to choose whether or not you want an individual or a group experience. Now, we have been testing this out with a couple of organizations. One of the main organizations we've been testing it with is Be the Neighbor. And so what you will see here is a lot of the Be the Neighbor sites are already populated in here. Oh, you can also do frequency. You want it to be a one-off or ongoing volunteer. So let's click on one of these opportunities. Let's click on the Oahu opportunity, which I don't think happened this year, but we'll use that as an example. So you click on the volunteer opportunity, and it has over here to the left, it has the summary. It has the organization's name, the dates that they're looking for volunteer, what the focus is. It even tells you what kinds of skills that they might be looking for, and then what the requirements are for that particular volunteer experience. If it's working with kids or working with vulnerable populations, it may require a background check, but any of the requirements would be listed there. It also tells you the hours and the state that it's located in. And then there's more narrative information to the right. It gives you a little bit more information. All of this is designed by the organization, by the church, by the region that would post this. They get to describe it in whatever way they want to. And then you can click on the volunteer interest form. The volunteer interest form captures the name, captures email, phone number, and then you can even fill in some information about yourself. The great thing about this volunteer form is it goes directly to the organization. So we're not holding it up, we're not keeping it, we're not going to do anything to prevent it from going, we're not filtering it. We're allowing people to fill out the form, and it will go directly to the organization that they want information about. What we will do on a periodic basis, probably weekly, if not more frequently, is we will make sure that anyone who receives a volunteer form, that we follow up with them to make sure that they are following up with the people who submitted forms. So if Be the Neighbor got 5 forms that week, we're going to just send Allison a quick email to say, hey, Allison, we see that you received 5 of these. We just want to make sure that you received them and that you're following up with them. Because we don't want people to submit their volunteer form and it goes into a black hole and then no one ever contacts them. So we're going to be doing that support work to help organizations that are receiving these volunteer forms. The other thing that they can do is the other part is you can sign up as a congregation or as an organization to register your organization. So whether it's Week of Compassion, All Peoples, I just met with Brandy Munoz at All Peoples and told her about this. She's excited about it. All you have to do is register your organization, and then you can post as many volunteer opportunities as you want. The only thing that we do is we scan the volunteer opportunity to make sure that it matches what we would like it to in terms of standards, and then it gets approved and it gets posted. And then you can click on that link and send that link to that volunteer opportunity to anyone you want to. There will be some additional ways of supporting this. We want to send out reminders to churches, to individuals, to let them know if there are new volunteers opportunities out there. So we really want to make sure that people are using this to connect organizations to volunteers. That's the volunteer portal. The second portal is the understanding piece. It isn't quite where we need it to be yet, so I'm just going to show that one quickly. But right now we have it set up to highlight 3 issues. This is where we will post issues, post webinars, post resources about various topics. We're going to keep this to a few. We don't want it to be overpowering and lose its effectiveness. And so we probably will only do about 4 or 5 at a time. things like food insecurity, chronically unhoused, healthcare inequities. We want to make sure that people have an opportunity to find resources that help them to understand the root causes and the deeper justice issues associated with the kind of work that they're doing in their community. So this part is still to come. The third component is, and that I think is also very compelling, is the being component. This is where we help disciples understand what it means to be the body of Christ in community together. You can join the community. Churches and individuals can sign up to be a part of the community. But one of the most important parts of it, we think, is the place you can click on to look at the forums. The forums will be sorted by category. And so let's say you're looking for something about food ministries. There'll be a forum for food ministries. There will be a forum for clothing ministries. There'll be a forum for sheltering, for climate change. So you can go into this forum, you can post questions, you can see what other people are talking about, you can highlight something that you've learned. Sometimes people may post things about volunteer burnout. Sometimes people may post things about our food vendor stopped providing us with food. What are some other ideas that you all have come up with for finding other sources of food? We want this to be an interactive way for disciples to really connect with each other around the issues that they are passionate about. So they can sign up, join the community, and they can post to the forum as well as see some of the things that are talked about on the forum. Another component to the Being portal is the Getting Started module. Let's say you're interested in starting a feeding ministry and you just need some ideas on what to do. Now, this isn't designed to be an exhaustive or comprehensive way of telling you everything you need to know about a food ministry. But for those who are really just getting started and they want some ideas, they can click on it. They can go to the feeding section and they see not only a video that gives them an example of a food pantry ministry, but they get some tips below that, things to be thinking about, whether you need licenses, safety training, storage handling, all those sorts of things that churches will need to know about if they're just at the very beginning stages of creating one of these kinds of ministries. So right now we have one for feeding, we have one for clothing, we have one for sheltering, and we have one for climate. And then the last thing that I want to share before I open it up for questions is we want to make sure that people can see where disciples are making a difference. And because I really like maps, we've created a map. And on this map, you can find out where disciples are doing the kinds of ministries that you're interested in learning about. So this is just one example of the way that this works. So this is the map. We took all of those congregations that responded to our survey. We took the types of local missions ministries that they described themselves as having, and we plugged it into the map so that we can provide a visual representation of where disciples are making a difference. So what happens is you choose a category or you choose a zip code. Let's say we want to look at clothing. That narrows the map down a little bit. You scroll, oh, did not mean to do that. You scroll down here and you see all of those 105 congregations that have some kind of clothing giveaway. You click on the congregation and it tells you right there, they have clothing ministries and they have feeding ministries. You also have the information. If you want to reach out to the congregation, you've got their website, their email address. What we hope in the future is that this page will become a lot more interactive and a lot more informative about what the congregation will be doing. So we want to be able to post pictures, videos that tell stories about all the amazing work that these congregations are doing. And as people have asked, we want congregations to be able to tell the story of what they're doing in local missions throughout the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. All right, that is Disciples Mission Hub. I do want to say that while we have created this, we anticipate this will be a major way for us all as a church to connect, to interact, and to support each other in local missions. And so it will only work as well as it can if we're all participating in whatever way makes sense for our various ministries. We do want regions to use it to post volunteer opportunities in their regions. We do want congregations to use it to talk about what they're doing in local missions and to share the good news. We want general ministries. We want Week of Compassion. We want NBA affiliated partners to post their volunteer opportunities, because this is going to be the way that we help our disciples really connect with opportunities to engage in local mission. I'm going to stop there, and I am open to any questions you all might have. Oh, I'm seeing some questions in the block. There we go. Oh, these are the we. Jay said, who is a we? We will staff. This will be staffed by a DHM person who will handle the coordination of it. And so that will be the person to do the follow-up. It will be the person to make sure that things that are being posted follow the standards that we have set. Things that are necessary to make sure that the site works well.
Chris, I have two
Yes.
questions.
Mhm.
Are there going to be requirements for posting a volunteer opportunity, or just can anyone that's a part of the community post an opportunity?
Right now, we're only allowing postings from disciples entities.
Okay.
So disciples, congregations, regions, affiliated ministries, and ministries that are affiliated with key ministries. So for instance, if Week of Compassion has, not Week of Compassion, if NBA has some of their partners that they want to be able to post volunteer opportunities. So All Peoples is a partner of both NBA and DHM. So we definitely want organizations like All Peoples to be able to post volunteer opportunities, but we're not allowing it to be posted by people who are outside the disciples connections.
Okay, great. And then another question. Tell me what happens what it means to join the community. Do you get like notifications when there's updates? Can you just explain more about what that means?
We're still in the process of thinking through that and figuring that part out. This is an emerging strategy for us. We do want to be able to provide notifications, but we don't want to overburden people with notifications. So right now there are no notifications going out. We're not sending out notifications. It's more of a passive thing. You have to go to the forum to look and see what's there. It could be down the road, again, if you're interested in getting notifications when someone posts in the food section, we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to receive notifications.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Part of what we hope to do is to populate the understanding piece, as has been described here, with content from other ministry sites. We don't want this to be just a DHM product. We want to be able to provide direct links to other ministry organizations so that we're steering traffic about those topics to those ministry organizations. So if Pension Fund is doing something on an issue, we want to make sure that we link to a webinar that Pension Fund may have going on if it's related to in the understanding category. The same with Global Ministries, same with NBA, Week of Compassion. Anyone who's posting something, we will ask, are you okay with us linking to your site? And then we'd like to add it to the site so that as people come to the site, they're able to get to other websites and not just be stuck here on this site.
Hey, Chris, just one quick observation. It's in a question, but of course, here in Oklahoma, we've been engaged in a regional minister search and did listening sessions and all that, right? And the top thing people were looking for in the region was connecting with other disciples. connecting with other congregations that often feel isolated, and connecting with the region. And so I think the emphasis in this project on connection to find volunteer opportunities, but also the ways to connect with each other. That I think that's a really strong component. I'm glad to see that included.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Randy. One of the things that we've already talked about is how to build in regional contingent or regional components to this, so that congregations can gather and talk about local missions, not just by topic, but also by region, if they desire to do that. All right, we're going to put the website in the chat box. Dawn, do you mind putting the website there? www.disciplesmissionhub.org. If you go to disciplesmissionhub.com, we've also secured that link, so you can it should work eventually if you'd use the com URL. But we definitely want you to go to the website, check it out. Any feedback you have. Thank you so much, David, for that comment. This is one of the things I've had the opportunity to share this with in a number of different settings, and the most common feedback I've gotten is this is something that we've been wanting for a long time. So I appreciate that. I appreciate those affirmations. Jay, you had a question. You're muted still. Oh, maybe it's something's wrong with your mic. Sorry about that. All right, thank you, Christy. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, Jay. I don't know what happened. We just couldn't hear you. Dawn has put her email address. So a lot of what we share will be available in our exhibit space at General Assembly. We're doing a pretty big launch around General Assembly of this, and so a lot of the stuff that we will do will be related to Disciples Mission Hub, as well as a couple of other initiatives that we have going. And we really are eager to have you all test it out, give us feedback, and ultimately use it. This is our contribution to the wider church, and we want to make sure that it is as successful, meaningful, and effective as possible. Dawn, am I missing anything? Did I forget anything? All right. Thank you all very much. And thank you again to Dawn Barnes, who helped lead the research of this. Thank you to Chris Lubiers, who is an amazing website designer. A lot of the most amazing features that we have on our website were brought to us by Chris Lubiers. So just a little plug for Tomatillo Design if you all are looking for web designers. All right, so we will give you all back the rest of your time. And thank you again for being here. Thank you all for agreeing to attend this soft launch. We look forward to your feedback, and we look forward to seeing you at General Assembly.
Thank you.
Oh, Jay, I see your question. He's on, sorry. Dawn, can you say, please? Hi, Joanne. Okay, Dawn. Do you want to stop recording?